Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we gotta talk about a kind of hilarious scene that went down in the city of Seattle, where the mayor was giving a press conference talking about efforts to clean up the streets, talking about efforts to finally enforce the law, and this is due in large part to the fact that a bunch of woke representatives, specifically on the left coast of the United States of America, have been voted out. People are sick of the defund the police attitude, but this woman decided in the most activist, annoying form to complain that they weren't compassionate enough to the criminals, that they didn't beg them for mercy for their crimes and house them and give them welfare. And it's just a hilarious scene and perfectly indicative of what we have been experiencing post the Black Lives Matter riots, and for years from these radical progressives who think that the left-wing mayor of Seattle isn't liberal enough, isn't progressive enough, because he wants to clean some damn graffiti off the walls. Now, we're going to get into this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
Stop the sweeps! You're murdering your own constituents!
And that was just the...
So right off the top, this local news segment brings you right in the middle of it, right in the thick of it, and here you have this woman screaming at the mayor, stop the sweeps, and apparently she did this for 15 minutes, and she claims the sweeps are killing people. They're killing their own constituents, which, by the way, I just want to make something 100% clear, even though she's definitely wrong, even though she is indicative of this woke failed ideology that has gotten a bunch of representatives thrown out of office, I fully support your right to heckle your representatives, even if you're going to be this level of ridiculous. But the reason why I'm covering this, other than the humor, other than the joy that I get out of this, is because she's quite literally wearing a fedora. She's screaming irrationally about police in Seattle apparently murdering people because they're too harsh on crime, even though everything she's advocating for has been put in place. And that's the reason why their left-wing mayor is trying to reverse course, because he sees the writing on the wall, not just the graffiti, and that this is going to be disastrous for him politically.
Start of that woman crashing Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell's news conference on public safety earlier today, and she just kept on going.
Also, look at this black woman's face as she's staring directly at this screaming woman. It kind of says it all. She kind of speaks for all of us just with her look, so I support this woman, whoever she is, even though she's almost certainly a Democrat and a supporter of the mayor, who I definitely don't support, even if he's trying to inch in the correct direction.
Very excited to talk about what we're trying to do.
This is how Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell's news conference about public safety started Friday.
Safety is the top priority of our administration and has been since day one.
The mayor issued an executive order to guide and define his administration's approach to public safety moving forward, which included formally establishing the Downtown Activation Team, DAT, to bring everyone together. In addition to,
we're submitting 2 pieces of legislation to the city council that will help protect the city staff, the contractors, the partners doing this essential restoration work.
So one of the reasons why I also wanted to do this segment, other than the fact that this woman screaming happens to be hilarious in every possible way, is because what she's screaming about is absurd. This guy issued an executive order saying that public safety is the guiding principle of his administration, which is nothing, just so you guys know, in case that you guys are confused about this. Then he said that he wants these teams, the DAT teams or DAT teams, to go in and clean up the streets, start dealing with the illegal vendors. These are the sweeps that she's angry about, and this is just basic quality of life stuff that you would think you would have if you're a taxpayer in a city like Seattle, who pays an extraordinary amount of money in taxes in order to have government services. But apparently, this is too far, this is killing people, this is hurting people, and what you need to do is allow the homeless to establish encampments wherever they damn well please, and in addition to that, you need to let people use drugs and OD on your streets, because that's definitely not killing people. Again, we have seen in California, we have seen in other states in the West, the voters reject this. The voters toss candidates out over this. So what this guy is doing as the mayor, who was in that camp before, is pivoting slightly in order to save his political career. But of course, the radical left constituents do exist. They are insane. They are still out there. These are the people who established CHOP or Chaz, whatever you want to call it, and they're mad, they're furious, they're saying, how dare you sweep up these innocent Beba Angel homeless people, they're so good, they're so swell, ignore the fact that they're committing multiple multiple crimes on the streets of Seattle.
It will provide flexibility and tools to address illegal street vending and trafficking of stolen goods.
But the tone of the news conference quickly changed.
Hundreds of people have died because of you!
A woman interrupted the mayor as he was speaking, and she kept going for 15 minutes.
So again, this woman is crazy in every possible way. She's screaming, "You're killing people. Hundreds of people are dying on the streets of Seattle because they're too tough on crime." And that's just insane. There is nothing reflected in reality in what she's saying at all. In fact, you can argue that this soft on crime approach, allowing these people to use drugs in these open air markets, allowing crime to fester, has killed that many people. But the idea that the Seattle police, after they were defunded, and remember, they were one of the major departments that had their funding cut, are killing more people with less actual powers is absurd. It makes no sense. What he's trying to do is clean up Seattle, make it better, make it more enjoyable, make it the city that ironically left-wing idiots like her moved to because they thought it was a nice place before they ruined it. And she's just screaming over and over again, "You're killing people." And honestly, again, as somebody who is not likely to be supportive of this mayor, as somebody who is not on board with the way that Democratic mayors govern cities, his response had me cracking up because it's so simple, it's so basic. I just appreciated it. Let me play it for you.
As she yelled, the mayor kept talking, sometimes addressing her directly.
Hey, ma'am, I'm not killing anybody.
Look, sometimes the most simple response is the one that I appreciate the most. And again, I will say, even though I totally disagree with this heckler, even though I think she is insane, and people like her that vote like her are definitely the problem, I support her ability to heckle, and apparently she was screaming for 15 straight minutes at this volume during this guy's press conference, but that retort is perfect. The guy's talking about cleaning graffiti, and this woman is wailing. She's screaming at the top of her lungs, "You're killing people!" And he's like, I'm not killing anyone.
The news conference quickly changed.
Hundreds of people have died because of you!
A woman interrupted the mayor as he was speaking, and she kept going for 15 minutes.
What the hell is wrong with you? And again, this is your constituency. This is your base, Democrats. These are the people that are behind the defund the police movement, the abolish prisons movement, the abolish the police movement. These absolute insane people who think if you get rid of graffiti, if you get rid of some illegal street vending, you're actually murdering people. Again, murderers killing people, not a problem. That's an innocent baby angel Aladdin just trying to feed their starving family, and you really can't say nothing to them. But you trying to stop them, you trying to stop petty crimes, you trying to stop graffiti, you're literally killing people. You're literally Hitler. This guy right here, this guy who looks like a little Asian-y, maybe he's a mix between Asian and black. I don't know. I don't know why I'm even speculating on this. This guy is apparently killing people because he's finally, after years, proposing a sensible policy, a logical policy, trying to improve the quality of life for the people of Seattle. And apparently that improvement is literally killing people. Literal murderer. You're killing people.
The mayor says DAT has completed nearly 200 restoration actions downtown and 43 in Little Saigon, which started earlier this month.
That means graffiti removals, power washing, and connections to services as we make our public spaces more welcoming to all.
He believes they can replicate the positive results they've seen downtown as they expand these efforts to the Chinatown International District and Little Saigon.
Now look, to be 100% clear, what is being emphasized and the full context of the proposal are not exactly aligned. Included in the sweeps that he's talking about are in fact law enforcement sweeps that will result in arrests. He is talking about going after some of the drug addicts, some of the open air drug markets. So there will be more people facing criminal consequences from some of these actions. That being said, in the press conference, in the portions that she's heckling, he's talking about power washing things, cleaning up the city of Seattle, cleaning up graffiti, and she's screaming, "You're killing people, you're murdering people." And it has to be extraordinarily distracting to try to conduct a press conference while that woman is screaming. I mean, again, just imagine trying to make your point while some large person wearing a fedora is screaming, "You're killing people! You're killing people!" It has to be one of the more difficult things to pull off. So in this regard, because this woman is so much further left than this particular mayor, I actually like him a little bit, a tiny bit. But you know, we've covered Seattle stories before. We talked about their district attorney. We talked about the homeless encampment fires where they don't even punish people for shutting down highways or shutting down a hospital because there was a fire in the little divider between the highway and the hospital. So look, it's not 100% that we're on board with this guy, but in this particular instance, in this limited context, we got to throw our support behind him against his opposition, while at the same time definitely supporting Democratic mayors getting heckled.
My heart goes out to the victim and their families.
Taking a moment to acknowledge last week's stabbings in the CID, Mayor Harrell also tried to honor Sergeant David Sullivan, who arrested the suspect.
Ma'am, if you have any decency, you would let us honor this officer.
Now, of course, they reference a crime that happened a week before. It was a stabbing. It was horrific. And he tries to congratulate the officer that made the arrest, and this woman starts heckling. And he says, oh, if you have any decency, you'll let me honor this officer. But that woman hates the police officer. Again, she thinks it's a better world where you let the innocent Beba Angel stabber out on the streets to stab again, maybe even stab her. That's honestly punishment for her being white, because these people are that level white guilted, rather than honor an officer, a white officer, for actually doing his damn job.
That's part of what mayors sign up for. What I wanted her to understand is that she's demanding that we act with compassion and not just arrest people. She's demanding that we house people and not just, in her words, sweep them. And she's right.
So look, the reason why I was praising the mayor for his limited calls for change earlier on in this video is because I saw this whole video. I knew he was going to go in this direction, and I need to make something 100% clear. She is not right. She is not correct. You're wrong. The idea that you need to house people and you need to show the criminals more compassion is exactly what got you into this scenario in the first place. I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but there are homeless people that are mentally ill. There are homeless people that are criminals. They're dangerous. And in fact, their mental illness and criminal behavior is the cause of their homelessness, not the other way around. And you don't fix that by just giving them housing or whatever stupid woo-woo Democratic policy that they try to propose as a solution rather than law enforcement. These people need consequences. They need to be punished. They need to be arrested. We've seen this over and over again. I mean, I just shot a story in New York City about somebody that they gave a slap on the wrist for multiple criminal offenses because he was an innocent baby angel homeless person with 2 different mental health calls for intervention, by the way, and he stabbed 3 people to death. You can't keep releasing these people onto the streets and expect better results. The guy's trying to clean up the streets. He's trying to do away with the graffiti and some of the filth that are on the streets of Seattle. That's great. But you know what? You have to get rid of the people that are also dirtying up your streets.
But the fact is I have to clean these streets up for people to live and work and shop and for children to be able to play. And so we'll continue to do that work.
Now he ends up saying, look, the fact is I got to make these streets nicer for people to live and like work on and all that stuff and for children to play. And that would be great. It would be wonderful in some of the wealthiest cities in the United States of America if your children could walk the streets unencumbered, if they could actually go outside and not have to deal with needles and all these other things that they encounter in cities like Seattle, like San Francisco, and all of that. But the fact of the matter is, we're not going to get change until we get changes in leadership. It's good that we're seeing these left-wing politicians being forced into the right direction, but nothing is going to be a substitute from somebody who actually believes and wants to commit to actually fixing the problems rather than papering over them enough in order to placate lefties like that screaming woman, while at the same time cooling the temperature and cooling the tempers of people who are angry about actual problems. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the Seattle mayor getting heckled in a hilarious way. Till next time.